Welcome to Vibe Coding Foundations 101. In today's video, we're going to be talking about database. Database is actually the backbone of the internet. It's absolutely what's required for every single thing. So we're going to be talking about D1 database. We're going to talk about Postgres database. I'm just going to give you an overall concept overview so that you could have some foundational knowledge of why you need a database when vibe coding an application. This video is part of my series for non-technical entrepreneurs and builders who want to learn vibe coding, specifically on Cloudflare, but honestly, it can work for any provider. It's really just foundational knowledge. It's a prerequisite to my course Building on Cloudflare 101. So if you're non-technical and you're just really trying to understand just the basic concept, that's what this course is about. If you're a developer, this is not for you by any single means. I couldn't find any single thing sort of online that could take you from zero. I don't know any single thing about coding. I'm interested in vibe coding to a scalable architecture when I was looking for stuff. So I decided to make something that actually gives you sort of that foundational knowledge. Hopefully it helps you in your journey, and I'm hoping that you actually can give me some feedback. And if you do, share it with other people so that at least they can learn how to vibe code as well. And my mission is to help 1 million people vibe code production grade application. So with that, let's jump right into the course. So far, we have talked about a client and a server. The server basically is serving up web pages and serving it to the client. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. We talked a little bit about dynamic content that could pull from other places and then have basically be served up to the client. However, the internet would be an extremely boring place if this is all that existed online. It's not. Most of the information that you see online comes from a database. So there's a third factor in play. The web page has some information that is coming from a database. Okay, so let's go with the concept of Amazon.com or some online shopping portal, Shopify or wherever, you pick your poison. Okay, that website would have some sort of, let's say, an image, it would have a title, it would have a description. So that information can potentially be stored on the file disk in some sort of format. But the problem with that is that it's just too slow. It would be because it takes time for the hard drive, because the hard drive in the olden days was a spinning disk. Now it's not a spinning disk, but the same concept applies. The hard drive to load the information into the web page would just be a little too slow. So for this reason, most of the data that you see on a website, for example, Amazon.com, the data that's coming from Google when you do a search or whatever the deal is coming from a database. Why? Because a database has better file structures so that that information can be served up in a much faster, much more efficient manner. The database itself is just significantly more efficient at serving information. Now, there's two types of database. There's a SQL database and there are no SQL database. There are more different types of databases, but for this conversation and for a basic introduction, that's all we need to know for now. What is an SQL database? I'm glad that you asked. SQL stands for SQL Query Language. I don't know why SQL. Maybe there was an original one before and they wanted to do a sequel. I don't know. But query language just means that it's a very basic, very human readable language to read data from a database. And it kind of converts it into a more advanced language. All you need to know is that an SQL database is a relational database. I won't bother writing that out. However, it means that the data is stored in some sort of tabular format. So it has a bunch of columns and a bunch of rows. Contrast that to a NoSQL database where it does not have tables and rows. It stores data in what we call JSON, which basically means it has a curly braces and a curly braces that represents the opening and close of the data. And then it has a key, which would be like name. Then it has a colon to separate it. And then it would be the name here in quotes. This is also in quotes as well too, okay? And then maybe address, colon, and then the address. So you have a key and a value, a key and a value, okay? And that could go on and on for as long as you like. So NoSQL databases store their data in this format, and you could have multiple of those data stored in the NoSQL format. And SQL stores data in columns and rows. So a SQL database, an example of an SQL database is Google Sheets. In fact, Google Sheet is a database. Excel is a database. It's a form of organizing data. It's just that it allows you access to those individual rows and columns versus the databases that we're going to be talking about. You don't get to see this like without sort of connecting to the database. All right. So here's an example. Let's go with our example of our web page listing a bunch of products. So for example, here I have Google Shopping. Google Shopping, right? I see a bunch of products. I see a title. I see a price and maybe a description. If I click into it, maybe it'll take me somewhere and it'll show me title, product description. It might have other properties on it, but the point is that the concept is the same. It has a title and a description and etc. So if I were to come into the spreadsheet, I could do something like title, name, or description, price. Okay, and then I could say dress pants. Let's make this bigger. Dress pants, right? Cool dress pants, right? And then I don't know, $100 or whatever. Okay, you get the idea. That's a database. So I have a whole bunch of rows of data. Oops. So let's copy this row. I'm just gonna keep repeating the same thing over and over just for the sake of thing, right? I could have dress pants 1, dress pants 2. You get the idea. It doesn't matter what the information is. Dress pants 2. Right, dress pants 3, 4, whatever, dress pants 5, etc. And then they all have different description and they all have different prices, right? Okay, so this information in a database accessed by a column can be accessed via SQL. So how, let's say for example, going into a little bit of weeds here, but just to give you an idea, let's say I wanted to just return this particular dress. The only thing that's unique about it is maybe the description. So maybe the user in the web application, they did a search and they typed in dress pants number 2, right? That would be a way to find it. Or what you can do is add another column and you can give every item an ID, right? So you give it an ID number 1, ID number 2, ID number 3, ID number 4, etc., etc. And then what you can do is write an SQL statement to say, I want to access ID number 3 or an ID number 2 as an example. So what I would do in my SQL statement is I would write select, because that's the language that says, hey, I would like you to like find me some information. And then I would say everything, which means all the columns, ID, title, description, price. And then I would say that this entire table would have a name. So let's just call this the products table. Let's call it products. So I would say select from products, because I could have multiple tables, right? This is just a name for this particular table. And then I could say where, and then I want to access this item here. So I could say where ID equals 2. That's my SQL statement. So that's how I would access information from my thing. I could also do something like where title equals dress pants. And I could put a percentage to say, I don't want it like, because I might have multiple dress pants, I want to see every single thing that has dress pants in it, right? Maybe this one is like a shirt. So this one will not be returned. It will only return all of the columns that have dress pants. So that's to give you an idea of what an SQL statement looks like. Quick interruption. If you're getting value from this video, can you do me a favor and just click on the subscribe button? That would really mean a lot to me. We're a super small channel, trying to grow, trying to get the word out about vibe coding and Cloudflare. So any subscription would really help the channel out. Also, if you're getting value from it, can you do me a favor and just leave a comment on the video, giving me your feedback, whether it's positive or negative. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. Doesn't matter. I appreciate those feedback. I read every single one of them and it allows me to sort of improve on the channel. And also, if you want more videos like this and you want to join a like-minded set of people that are also building vibe-coded applications, link is in the bio to my school community. It's dwain.me/school, where you could join a group of like-minded people and we could build something together. So if that's something you're interested in, follow the link. You could also book a one-on-one call with me and we could talk about your project and figure out how to get you from vibe code to profit. So with that, have yourself a wonderful day. Continue watching the video. The NoSQL, which is ironic, actually most queries look like the exact same thing. So SQL is actually the standard. NoSQL just really refers to how the data is being stored. For you to actually query the data, most of the databases use the exact same SQL syntax, which is what I just showed you there. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right. Now, we're a little bit in the weeds here, a little bit overboard, but I'm going to just highlight a couple more things. Everybody has an SQL, okay? When I started out, I used Microsoft SQL, Microsoft ROSOFT. Okay. Microsoft, their version of SQL is called TSQL. Why T? I don't know. Transaction is what it stands for because it's just their version of it. It looks the same, almost, with a slightly different, some keywords are slightly different. Doesn't matter. Microsoft has a database called, right now it's Azure database, AZURE, Azure SQL, okay? There is open source database called MySQL, okay? There is Postgres, POSTGRESS or something like that, right? Postgres SQL. There is in AWS world, there's I'm forgetting the name of the database now. Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is there's all kinds of flavor. Oh, there's Oracle, ORACL. Okay. Oracle is more for the enterprise. It's just how it is because they were originally some of the original set of databases in the olden days. Microsoft is more for the smaller business to mid-sized business. Postgres is sort of like the cool kid that everybody's using today that's really fast and has some really good features. MySQL is also another version of that. You could use any one of these databases, and of course Cloudflare. Cloudflare has D1, okay, which is a slightly different database than all the others because it's a file database. Okay, so with that, what ended up happening is you write some SQL, like I just showed you. That SQL gets processed by the computer, and then it takes the results and it injects it into the web page, and then the server packages that web page and then sends it down to the user so that you could see those results. And that's basically databases in a nutshell. Every website, for the most part, has some form of database behind it. Hopefully that makes sense.